I'm starting to wonder why people don't use these reserve list lands more often. A lot of conversation starting up around the reserve list right now. Happy 30th anniversary, Magic lovers. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman, and I'm glad you're all here today. I am. I don't care what Wizards is doing in the backdoor basement of how they're trying to roll one over on us for some money. Let's talk about the reserve list lands, man. There are some great cards out there. Depending on why you're playing a game and how you decide to play, some of these lands can be invaluable in a deck, and a lot of players don't use them. I myself have started using a few of these lands, and I'll explain it in the video how I'm making these things work for me and how often they're actually effective when I'm trying to build in Commander. So let's have some fun with today's video. Let's take a look at some of these underpriced lands and a few that are just right on the mark right now and a great steal if you're trying to buy some of these cards for a deck. So many great valued cards out there, and Wizards is just trying to grind everything to the ground by charging $1,000. I can't get over it, guys. My mind is going to keep going back to this week after week, but I'm going to stay cheery. I'm going to stay happy because I love doing these videos. I love talking with everyone out there, but man, just this grinds my gears. You remember that episode. That's right. That's how I feel right now. So let's get to it. Let's have some fun. There's great cards on here. Can't wait to share it with you. Let's get this party started. Let's get it rolling. Now, I've got to mention the dual lands today. I'm going to go over a couple of them here. You can see it's $450 Canadian near mint for a scrub land, and that's if you can find one. You know, some are trying to overcharge you, but you can find them near mint for $450. The average is $352 US. The market is $336.95 US. €243.81 to get this card in your house. You'll see it's trending down ever so slightly here in the MTG finance world. This is a very slight downward trend. But with that announcement of the 30th anniversary and how players may or may not react to this, you could see a lot of market fluctuations. So if you're a player who's been looking to get these, this might be your opportunity. If you don't want a proxy piece of junk that's being overcharged for $250 a pack, you might just be able to get the real deal for a few shekels less just by waiting for it, just waiting to see what happens. Now, when you're looking at these lands, depending on what condition you care about, some people just want a copy for Commander. They don't need a near mint one. They just need something that is real. And of course, the same goes for Savannah. All these cards, $500 near mint is kind of pricey. $370 US. Remember when only the blue dual lands, things like Tundra and Tropical Island, Underground Sea, Volcanic Isle, those were the most expensive. But all these underpriced dual lands are catching up because Wizards' color wheel of how they're building up different deck combination colors is getting stronger, which means these lands are actually kind of catching up to where the rest of the market already is for the higher priced dual lands. Again, cards like this may see that market fluctuation that you just shouldn't underestimate. If you're prepared for buys like this when they come along, sometimes it's the right time to get it. And it could be coming our way depending on how the market reacts somewhere around December. You have to wait for stuff to come out and see how it goes. Now, I'm going to cover the Ice Age lands. I get panned on this. People kick me in the you-know-where. I get hate mail. I get it. Depletion lands suck, don't they? They just suckity, and everyone hates them. But you know what? I disagree. I do. I'm going to explain why. Number one, $3 a land, super underpriced. They do not come into play tapped. You can use them right away and get either color you need. That's a bonus right there. Now, the average price is $2.10, okay? $3 Canadian, but $2.10. A very, very inexpensive land. And there are ways of making these lands on tap, but depending on how you're building with them. When I have been using cards like Lava Tubes and the like, I've been building it multicolored decks where the first 3 or 4 turns are the most important for my deck. They are the most important. So any of these I use like Lava Tubes, I need it in the first couple of turns, but after that, it doesn't get so serious because you've played out your hand, you're kind of top decking and moving along, maybe some card advantage comes along. But when you get to that mid-game where it's not as important, depending on your style of play, there are cards that can do it for you, like Seedborn Muse, Teferi's emblem from Teferi who slows the sun. That emblem untaps your lands every turn. Don't forget that. The Prophet of Crufix, a Paradox Engine, All of these allow your stuff to untap every turn, not to mention all kinds of like instant spells like reset, which resets your mana. There are ways of doing it, but if you want like to always untap them, all you've got to do is get one of those 4 choices right there for a couple of bucks. Throw a few of these choices in there, especially if you're using all the different color wheel. It makes it a lot more palatable to have 4 or 5 ways of untapping all of your lands. Crazy good stuff for still only $3, and you'll still get to use these things on turn 1. You can still use it when it comes out. And yeah, it has that depletion, but I just think people underestimate these. They're just crazy good lands that people don't always look at. And when you look at the choices you have to work with, when you look at the options like Timberline Ridge and realize this is just a Taiga in the same wheelhouse, right? So really, if you can get a dual land in there and Timberline Ridge, if you can get a Lava Tube and a Volcanic, like you have options available. I started with Badlands, right? Whatever, you have options open that most players never consider. That there are ways of untapping those lands and they don't cost you a lot of money to get there. And when something doesn't cost a lot of money and it's really affordable, it makes it a little easier to work with, depending on how competitive you're trying to be. Are you trying to build a CDEH and you want to kill somebody on turn 2? Yeah, these probably aren't for you. I get it. But if you're a person who says, I want to play, I want lots of options on mana base, I want to be able to use the land when it comes in, I don't want really any heavy drawback, a depletion counter can seem like a drawback, but there are ways of removing it. Get creative. That's what the game's all about, right? Brewing up crazy stuff to make your lands effective when nobody else sees it coming. You want to mess them up too? Mix in Kismet. Make their lands come into play tapped. Mess them up. You can do that all the time. God, people got to think this stuff through. This is great stuff, man. And I look at these lands, you look at River Delta and you say, really? For $3 you wouldn't like to have another version of Underground Sea? That doesn't appeal to you? Even if it is only for 1 turn before it gets, every other turn use, it's still a crazy thing. And if any of these combinations can come up quick enough and you can get them out of the battlefield and keep them alive, wow. And there's lots of ways of recycling these things and getting them back. In some cases, don't forget, you could use like a Renin 6. You could sack that land and then play it again. There are ways of bringing this stuff back as well. You can recursion your own land. People just don't always think this through and realize, yes, it can take a little bit of effort, but when you're constructing, that's what it's all about, to make your deck as effective as you can. And the mana base is the most important thing you're going to play with. Adding a commonality of getting as many land of the right colors at the right time gives you the win, gives you your win con. So you got to have stuff like this. And it's so inexpensive. I don't know if it'll ever be really expensive, but I can see these things going to $10. I can see them having a little bit of use. I don't know. I'll keep pushing it. I've already bought some. I don't care. But man, and near mint is like what, $5 each? Crazy. Now, Rainbow Veil, another one of those lands I love to use. It's in a lot of my multicolored decks right now. $10 Canadian for a light played copy. $5 for a moderately played. You can go on TCG though and get these things for like $4, guys. If you're just looking for a play copy. If you don't care about near mint, play copy's like $4. And if you're using TCG Player for anything, please consider using my TCG affiliate link. It's found in the description of all of my videos. Just click the link, takes you right to TCG, start your shopping, and when you check out, I get a little kickback at the end of the month, and I appreciate it. So thank you everyone who considers doing that for me. Now, when you look at this thing, I usually find ways of blowing my own land up or unsummoning it, and sometimes I don't care because it's going to give me the win when I tap for it. Especially in a 5-color deck, if you're looking at the Joda style stuff or dragon decks or 5-color wheelhouse decks, having cards like this, yeah, you're going to give it to your opponent a little bit of advantage once in a while, but sometimes it's the right move at the right time that gives you the win, and you didn't have that option without Rainbow Veil. So remember that, guys. This card gives you any color. This is like tapping for a Mox, okay? Except for it's not 0 to put out, right? Like, you can't just lay it out, but still. So Devi Excavations. All right, people always pick on me for this one. The card of the channel. And if you're one of the army of Sol Devi, welcome to my wheelhouse. I'm very proud to have you all standing with me. And if you're new to the channel and you wonder what this card is, buy yourself a copy and join the army. That's right, join the Sol Devi army. We keep a track on this card. By the way, we're just over 6,900 and something copies, closing in on 7,000. But a card like this gives us a real data point to see how many near mint, regular card, how many heavily played, light played, moderately played are out there, and then cross comparing over the time frame to see how this card has fared over the years. We have a real insight most players do not. Even most big YouTubers do not have the data I have on cards like this, which is awesome for us. Now, this card itself is actually a decent card. When Devi comes into play, you sacrifice an untapped island, or bury the Devi Excavations. It adds 1 blue and 1 other to your mana pool, so it taps for 2, okay? Yes, you can like strip mine it and stuff, but you ever notice a lot of players don't bother strip mining this, by the way. I have yet to have my land destroyed in play. Keep that in mind. 1, tap and look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom. So that's an early form of scry, people. It lets me look ahead and see what's coming. I don't like what's in my deck. I go on to the next card. And by the way, it only took me 1 mana to do it. That's a crazy ability and people don't see it. Castle Vantress and stuff from Eldraine are just copies of this card that are worse. But better yet, put them both in. And you can have, this card's been as high as $40-something on the channel. We've done some buyouts here. We've recommended, let's get it. And I will do it again. I love that this price is dropping. I will poise myself. I will prepare for an onslaught. And I will gobble up more of this card as soon as I have the opportunity. $13 Canadian lightly played on TCG Player. That is crazy. Now a near mint copy is about $25 US for near mint though. Depending on the copy you're after, it's amazing, guys. Card like this in a blue wheelhouse, totally underestimated. Totally amazing. Now, City of Shadows. This card has been over the $200 mark. It is one of the key marquee cards from the dark. I do have this in my throw bolt, and I can't recommend it enough, okay? If you're doing anything with token construction, and you need a sack outlet, you block and sack, block and sack. I was doing all kinds of Kobolds of Kur Keep, Tevesh Savat, making my Thrall tokens. I was sacking them to this thing. And then I did all kinds of craziness that nobody could stop. Because that thing had like 15 counters on it. And nobody had a way of blowing it up, which was very nice. And I did it a couple of times now. This card has a lot of playability for anybody who likes to have a game go on for a while, like to stretch things out and see what you can do as you slowly build up. People say, why do you have so many token things on that? Why is it tapping for so much mana? What are you going to do to us? Wait and see. I love that stuff, guys. I find it very entertaining. This card is great for me. I've always enjoyed it. And the fact it's coming back down in price, moderately played copies on TCG Player right now are $57. That's with shipping. $57 US, which is around $70 here in Canada for moderate to heavily played. It says the near mint is $100 US. This thing was over 200 bucks after those initial buyouts, and it has crashed. Good. Let it crash. Let other players grab some copies now if they need to. If you don't need one, let it sit there and do nothing. Let it keep falling. Let it just collapse. Because there will be players who pick this card up. Assuming they don't reprint it in some proxy format where players can just, Oh, sorry. I'm getting off topic here. Proxy this. All right. The next card. Diamond Valley from Arabian Nights. Now, this card is expensive, I admit it, guys. $800 Canadian for a moderately played copy. This is not cheap. But I look at the Diamond Valley. Tap to sacrifice one of your creatures in exchange for a number of life points equal to its toughness. There are lots of creatures that you can sack and bring back and basically gain anywhere from 10 to 13 life a turn just by tap and sack, because the creature will just keep coming back. There are lots of crazy things you can do. I've actually used I did a proxy deck, but I used this as a proxy because I don't own it yet. I used this as a proxy, and I was using it with Volroth Stronghold to like sack a really big creature and like bring it back every turn. It was a lot of fun, and I just kept gaining the life because nobody was doing anything. So I just like built up a whole bunch of mana supply, and then I burned a whole bunch of people out. It was awesome. I had a good time doing it. I understand a card like this is expensive, but you have to remember, cards like that are so old and the supply is so low at this point that yeah, they're going to cost you a lot of money, but you won't regret it because it's a card you hold on to forever. It is a card I'm going to buy. I have to add it to my collection to get to my, complete set of Arabian Nights, and I can't wait till I can finally buy some of these bigger cards and get things done. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope you enjoyed the cards I've shared with you and you understand some of the reasoning behind why I do the things that I'm doing. Some of these cards are just underutilized and undervalued, and they don't have to be. Commander games, when they're a nice casual format, don't end instantly. People will wonder why you're using these things and why these combinations seem to work out for you, because you're doubling up on your chances of getting certain things going, and that's a good thing. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Guys, MTG Moxman here, not proxying myself. It's not a still image behind me. This is real still, at least for now. Guys, have a great day today. I'll see you soon. Hey guys, a big shout out goes out to all the fantastic patrons on this channel who stand by me as these videos get created. You guys rock. Remember that line from Army of Darkness? You found me beautiful once. Yeah, but you got really ugly. And she goes, ah! That's awesome, man. Welcome back, guys, to the end. You are the 3%. You're the specials. 3% who watch till the end of these videos. I bow to you all. To all the awesome patrons, all my YouTube membership members. Without you guys, what would this be? I wouldn't even be here right now. I wouldn't even have socks on. It wouldn't be happening. You guys are amazing. Great cards, man. I don't know how people can pass that stuff up sometimes, but such goodness and such a great game. And Wizards is trying to mess things up. Mess things up! Oh, I know, I'm not done. I could rant on forever, man. My mind just, it's like stuck up there, man. It's like something just gnawing away inside, and I just can't let it go. Anyway, hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thanks for chilling with me. If you're making it this far in the video, this is what? This is Thursday. So there'll probably be a live stream Friday or Saturday. Because Sunday, of course, is like Thanksgiving here in Canada. Like, you know, it's where I'm going to see the family. So I won't be on Sunday. But I'll probably have some kind of live stream on Friday or Saturday. We'll have some fun. We'll kick back, okay? Just look in the community section of my stuff where I do the polls and stuff. I'll put some note there, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out. I'll see you guys soon.